Hi everyone, good day. Welcome to VSPARKZ. Today we are going to discuss about AWS Identity and Access Management. Identity and Access Management is shortly called as IAM. If you like this video, please subscribe to VSPARKZ channel. So these are the contents that we are going to see in this demo. We are going to see what is IAM, what do you mean by identities, and how are we going to manage identities, and at last we are going to see a demo on the IAM. What is IAM? IAM stands for Identity and Access Management. It is an AWS service that helps you to control access to your AWS resources more securely. IAM is used to define the authorization and the authentication. Authorization means who has what permissions on what resources. That is the meaning of authorization. And for authentication, we are going to sign in, right? So that is called as authentication. To sign in, we need identities. What are identities? Can be a name, can be a person, can be a person's email ID, and so on. Now we'll discuss little deeper about identities. So the first identity is user. And user is an entity that you create in AWS to represent a person or an application. So this user is used to interact with the AWS. And user normally consists of name and credentials. Credentials can be password or it can be some keys. So normally there are two types of users that you can create in AWS. The first user is the root user and the IAM users. The root user is the one who creates an AWS account. Probably he is the owner for that AWS account and he can do whatever he wants. Maybe he can delete that account, he can give permissions to other persons, and so on he can do. And IAM users. Instead of sharing your root credentials with others within your organization, you can create individual IAM users within your account that corresponds to the users in your organization. These IAM users are not separate accounts, they are the users within your own account. Each user can have its own password for access to the AWS Management Console. We have to restrict the permissions for that IAM users based on their role. I mean the organizational role. Next is groups. An IAM group is a collection of IAM users. Next is permissions and policies. Permission let you to specify access to AWS resources. For example, if you want to access EC2, you need a specific permission. If you need to access S3 buckets, you need some specific permissions. Collection of group of permissions constitute a policy. A policy can contain multiple permissions. At last, roles. IAM role is an IAM identity that you can create in your account that has specific permissions which can be used by multiple users. Now, how are we going to manage our identities? We can manage the identities in AWS or with third-party identity providers. In this picture, we are managing our identities inside AWS. You know, identities are the users. Can be user, can be email IDs, etc. You can see users, groups, policies, and permissions within AWS. You can see one policy contains multiple permissions, and we are attaching one particular policy to a group. You can also see one group contains multiple users. So these users now will inherit EC2 full access permissions. In this picture, you can see the identities are managed outside of AWS. Here the identities are managed within your on-premise Active Directory. To leverage these identities and to access AWS console, we need a federator or a SSO federator, you can say. Again, the SSO federator can be AWS native service, or it can be a third-party service provider. Few such are Auth0, Microsoft Active Directory Federation Services, Ping Federate, and Secure Auth. Let us see the demo. These are the things that we are going to do in this demo. We are going to create groups and attach policies, create users and add it to the respective groups, and we are going to log in to the AWS console as an IAM user and test the IAM users access. And for the first step, we are going to create groups and attach policies. So log into your AWS management console. Just click services. Go to IAM. So this is your identity and access management console. Go to groups, click create a new group. So I am creating a group name called server-admins. So to that specific groups, we are going to attach policies. So around 471 policies are right now available with AWS. These are all predefined policies. If you want to create a custom policy, that is also possible. I am just filtering the policies with respect to EC2. I am attaching EC2 full administrator access for this particular group. Now server admins has full access to EC2 because it contains Amazon EC2 full access permission. First step is done. Now the second step. Now we are going to create users and add it to the respective users. So I am going to create users Sam and James. Go to users, click add users, give the username as james@vsparkz.com. Now this user can be a programmatic user, or this guy can be a AWS management console user. Set a password. Go to permissions. Now I am going to add the specific user to the group called server admins. Now this James user is successfully created, and you can see user, access key ID and secret access key. Because this James user is a programmatic user as well, that's why those things are shown. Now we are going to create Sam user, but this Sam user I am not going to create as a programmatic user. So this Sam user is only the management console user. So set a console password for him. Next, permissions. Add the user to the specific group. Now this Sam user is also successfully created. Go to the third step. Now we are going to log in as an IAM user from a browser. To do that, we need the IAM users sign in link. So this is my link. So paste it in a browser. You can get this link in the IAM dashboard. Now type the IAM username, which is james@vsparkz.com. Password, you can give the password which you set at the time of creating the James user. click sign in. This James user is tagged to a group where the group has only EC2 permissions. It does not have any other service permissions. That's it. Now your James user successfully logged in the master's account. Now we are going to test the user's accesses. Just check what are all the permissions that he has. Try to access EC2. Now the James user can access EC2 because he has the permissions that got inherited from his group. Try to access S3 or any other services. He does not have S3 permissions, so the access should be denied. Yes. So once you're done with your demos, just clean all the resources from your console, because it may lead to unnecessary billings. We came to the demo end, and this is the summary. We have seen what is IAM, what do you mean by identities, and how are we going to manage our identities, and at last we saw a demo on the IAM. If you like this video, please subscribe to VSPARKZ channel. Thank you from VSPARKZ. Thank you for spending your precious time in seeing this video. Have a good day ahead.